Welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin. This is my no-buy year. Today I'm going to be talking about Glossier. Since Glossier is now at Sephora, I figured I would do a little roundup of all of the Glossier products that I have. And I'm just going to go through them and talk about whether or not I think that you should pick it up. Obviously, it's my no-buy year, so I am trying to get out of the habit of overspending on makeup and skincare and stuff. So I don't want to encourage anyone to go buy any of these things, really, unless it's within your budget to do so and you're looking to get something and maybe you were interested in Glossier, but you never wanted to place an order from the website before, but now that it's in Sephora, you're more likely to pick something up. Let's just go through all of the things. I'm going to start with the non-makeup things first. The first thing that I have is the Glossier You perfume. I love the scent of this so much. I think it's one of my favorite all-time perfumes. I like how this smells on me, and I've gotten compliments before from other people when I wear it. One of the downsides of it, I would say, is that I feel like I go through it pretty quickly, and if I wear it too many days in a row, I stop noticing the scent on me. One of the reasons that I wear perfume is because I like to smell it, so if I've been wearing it for too many days in a row, I try to take a break, and then when I start using it again, I'll be able to smell it. And I also have the perfume Solid. For some reason, it smells the same, yet somehow different. I don't know if I would recommend the Solid unless you happen to travel a lot, and it would make more sense for you to have a Solid instead of trying to carry liquids, you know. But for some reason, I don't like this as much, and I find it more difficult to actually smell it on me when I use the Solid, so I don't know that I would recommend the Solid. I also have the hand cream. I don't think that I would necessarily recommend this unless you're into an overpriced hand cream. The smell isn't necessarily my favorite. I don't really enjoy the packaging of it. It's still quite full, which just means that I don't hardly ever reach for it. But I imagine that when you get close to being empty, it's going to be really hard to squeeze it out. I think you could probably skip this. After balm. If you have very dry skin, I would recommend this. It's just a super heavy, nourishing balm. It is quite thick like a balm, but eventually it spreads out like a moisturizer. I only ever use this at night when my skin is super dry, or maybe I used a more harsh exfoliant, chemical exfoliant like an AHA, but this is really good for using after stuff like this. So if you're dry skin, would highly recommend it. Something else that I consider more of a skincare type product is the Glossier Futuredew. I use this more as a last step in the skincare / priming for makeup. I don't ever use this as a highlighter on the skin. I think it's just far too sticky and kind of liquidy to do that. I imagine it would be quite good to mix in with a foundation. If you have a foundation that's just a little bit too drying on your skin, I think if you mix this, it would probably work. I don't think I've ever mixed it with a foundation. I've strictly just always used it as a last step in my skincare routine if I plan on using it that day. So it's always in my bathroom, which is why I haven't ever mixed it with foundation. If you like super hydrating, glowy type products, then you can't go wrong with this. base products. The Perfecting Skin Tint. I have the shades G10 and G11. G10 is a bit too dark for me. If I have had a little bit of sun in the summer, it's more of a match. G11 is an okay match. Sometimes it's like a little bit too light. So oftentimes if I'm using this, I mix this together. I had G10 first. It's actually kind of almost empty. Like it's down to about here. And G11 is newer. Like I purchased it more maybe last year, beginning of last year maybe. I gotta be honest, this is not my favorite. I think if you have perfect skin and you just want to add more of a texture to your skin, not bad texture, but like a glowy type texture to your skin, then sure, go for this. But honestly, it provides next to zero coverage. If I use this, it's more of like a first step in my base. Like I have to go in with something quite heavier, like a heavier concealer to cover any imperfections that I may have. So like this is okay if my skin has no blemishes on it whatsoever, but that's rarely the case. So honestly, I think you could skip this. Concealer, the Glossier Stretch Concealer. This is actually quite nice. I like that it's more dewy of a concealer. I oftentimes, how I use this is just as an all-over complexion product, either with a brush or honestly a wet sponge works pretty nice too. Again, I would say this is like light coverage. Maybe you could build it up to medium, but it gets quite like thick and heavy if you try to do that. I have the shades G11 and G12. G12 is actually more of a good shade because it has a little bit more pink in it. G11 is a little bit more on the neutral, kind of leaning yellow side. So if I end up using G11, it's mixed with G12. But overall, I think these are pretty good. If you're looking for just like a lighter coverage concealer that isn't matte, I think you would be okay with this. The bronzers, the liquid bronzers that they came out with, I have the shades Flare, which is the lightest, and Volt, which I'm not sure where it is in the line, but it's like more, it has more red in it, which tends to work better on my skin because if I'm in the sun, I get red, not tan. So if I'm using these, I usually mix them together. Honestly, they're not the worst. They're not the best. When I blend them out, sometimes they can get quite patchy, like on my right cheek. I think there's just like something about my skin over here. And sometimes it happens on my left cheek as well, but mostly the right, where just like things don't want to stick, so it just will always look patchy no matter what I use to blend something out. I don't know, you could probably do better liquid bronzer formulations out there, but if you are just like set on having Glossier products, go for it. And if you can find a color that actually works for you, then otherwise, like, I think there's probably better stuff out there and you could probably skip this. Cloud paints. I think when these first came out, they were like all of the rage because there hadn't really been a brand with like liquid blushes. So I think for what they were at the time, I think they were great, but now there are so many more, or so many other cream and liquid blush formulas that I tend to reach for more than these. The one thing that I do like most about them is the colors. I feel like the colors that they have are pretty unique, so they have that going for them. The shade Dusk is actually, I can kind of use it as like a bronzer type shade, and it works pretty well for that. So I keep them around, but I don't really ever reach for them. So if there's like a color in them that you love and you can't find that color in any other formulation, then I would say go ahead. But again, I think there's better cream formulas out there. Also, I think I just don't really tend to reach for liquid blush anymore, since they are quite, I mean, they're not runny, but it's certainly not like cream, and I tend to go for cream blushes more. So like the Phytosurgence blushes are, I think, probably my all-time favorite blush formula, like cream blush formula. So honestly, I would suggest going for something like that over the cloud paints. Next is the Haloscope. I have the shades Moonstone and Quartz. When I first got these, I loved them. I love that it gave you like a dewy highlight without having chunks of glitter in it. But honestly, like I wore this the other day and my hair just stuck to it all day. If you're not concerned with having a sticky face, then I think these are really great for what they are. But if you're like me and you can't stand things sticking to your face, like anytime you just like turn your head and your hair would like catch it, you know, I don't think that I would really recommend these. Boy brow. If my brows are freshly tinted, which they are right now, and in the footage that you'll see, it was when I used them, but honestly, I think my brows are just not made for this to work well. And the weird thing about that is, like, I have 2 more backups of this. I don't know why I bought so many. It's not my favorite. I would much prefer using like the Patrick Ta lamination gel. I find that this doesn't really have much hold and it can be quite messy. I have the brown shade, so if you have the colored version of this, I feel like it just kind of gets all over the place, especially if you have like all the little peach fuzz type hairs around the brow. I think this just like gets into that so easily. It's kind of a pain to work with, but like it could be good if you just want to like, if you can just like swipe it on and go. Like if you don't really have to do much with your brows, I think this could probably be pretty good for you. But if you have brows like mine where like they're already kind of thin, so what I'm looking for is hold to get them to stay more fluffed essentially, this doesn't really do that for me. I think there's other brow gels out there that are probably better. On to eye products. I have the Glossier Skywash. They're the matte cream eyeshadow. I have the shades Terra and Valley. Again, when I first got these, I feel like they were my first introduction into like cream liquid eyeshadows. I really enjoyed them when I first got them. I thought the colors were pretty unique. I couldn't find these colors elsewhere in like a cream liquid formula. But the more and more that I use them, they just kind of, they get quite patchy. You can't really build them up. Honestly, I think they're just not really worth the money. I don't even know why I've still held on to them. I never use them. I never reach for them. They kind of just stay in the back of a drawer. So I probably should just declutter them. I just haven't yet. So the Sky Washes I would not recommend. Now for more of the glittery eyeshadows. These are the, what are they called? The Lidstars. I have the shade Branch, Bun, and Herb. Again, these are just like so patchy. At least on my eyelids. They're patchy. You can't really build them up. When you put them on and try to blend them out, all of the shine to them is essentially gone. I used the shade Herb in the video that you'll see, and it basically just blends away to where it looks like there's nothing on my eye. So for that reason, I never reach for them. I wouldn't recommend them. I think there are far better glittery metallic liquid eyeshadows out there, and the colors just like, these are the 3 that kind of resonated the most with me. But the colors are just a little bit weird. So like the herb, it's like a olivey green, but like just not really what I was hoping it would be, I think. So I never reach for these and I wouldn't recommend them. The Lash Slick, I don't even know why I bought this. My lashes need to have waterproof mascara, otherwise they just droop immediately. This is a tubing mascara. I've never got on well with tubing mascaras because they droop my eyelashes immediately. So maybe this formula is good, but for someone who can't ever use regular mascaras, it didn't work for me. So if you're someone who your lashes don't hold a curl, I would not recommend this. This kind of turned into like a slam Glossier video, and I didn't intend for that. Sorry. Wowder. I have the shade G11-G12. This is actually an okay powder. It works really well on light coverage products, like since it was made to sort of go with the skin tint. I think it works quite well with other skin tints that I have. I think it just sort of provides that finishing powder. I kind of use it more in that way as like if I don't need to do a heavy duty setting, I just sort of throw this all over the face and it works quite well. Another product that I would also recommend are the balm.coms, although my understanding is that now that they're in Sephora, they've reformulated them, so I can't speak to the new formula. But the original formula, if you can still find some of those somewhere, I highly recommend. This is a scent lavender, but I have others. My favorite, I think, was the coconut. I finished a coconut one and a mango one, and I still have like the cherry, the berry, the mint, the birthday one. I've got the cookie butter one. Are those all of them? Again, great lip balm. I keep one at work. I keep one in my backpack. Great. More lip products. The glosses. I thought that I had the red one as well, but either I'm making that up or I just can't find it anywhere. But I've got like the super sparkly one and then also the clear one. These are good if you like a hefty lip gloss. Like you want to feel it on your lips. It's quite hefty. It's quite sticky. So if that's the type of lip gloss that you like, then yes, I would recommend these. As long as my hair is pulled back, I can wear these, but girl, if you're outside and it's windy and your hair is down, any touch of the lips, like all of it is going to stick. So if you're okay with that, go for it. Generation G. I actually also quite like these. I believe though that these are the original formulation. Again, I heard that they reformulated it. I can't speak to that new formula, but I like these because they're a little bit more on the matte side, so I tend to just sort of like blot it on. I'm not a big lipstick wearing person, so these are actually quite good for me. Provides a little bit of color, but I don't have to worry about it like slipping and sliding all over my face. So the Generation G, if you find a color that suits you, go for it. Last product, the Ultralip. These are like their latest lip launch or something, but by latest I mean like a couple years ago or something. These are much more slippy and glossy than the Generation G. These are okay if you like more of a shine to your lips without having to put lip gloss on or something, then I think you would probably really like these. And the color Villa, actually I quite like. So if you're looking for just like a little bit of color with some like glossiness built in, not quite as matte as the Generation G, then I think that you would like these. Alright, that's it for all of the Glossier products that I have. Overall, I feel like you can probably skip a lot of the things. Like there were a few things that I actually like using and that I reach for on a regular basis, but most of it, honestly, I don't even use anymore. Unless you're the type of person who has like perfect skin, pretty much that. If you have like perfect skin and you're looking for a minimal type of look, then I think Glossier would be a great brand for you to check out, which again, that's kind of how they've marketed themselves, right? They've always targeted the younger demographic, and they've always like touted to be minimal type makeup. So if that's the type of aesthetic that you go for, I think you could probably find some stuff in here that you like. A lot of the formulations I think are a little bit outdated. I think when they came out, it was like not revolutionary, but it was like new on the market, on the makeup market. Like not very many other brands had stuff like this. So I think, you know, when they first started, I think they were great about that. But as the years have gone on, you know, they kind of just stuck to the same. But I feel like makeup is moving past some of this stuff. They just kind of haven't really kept with the times. Thanks for watching. I hope that you found some of this useful. If you did, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Is there anything that you just ride or die from Glossier? Leave a comment, let people know. Again, thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. That's all I've got. Goodbye.